Hello, everyone. Welcome to another TPF podcast. And today we've got our head coach here at TPF, Mr. Ben Porter. Because again, the last episode I done, I was kind of rambling about myself a little bit. 'Cause, again, I don't. You might be surprised, but I don't actually like talking about myself that much. But I think it's important that people know a little bit more about who we are, right, and our experiences and the struggles we've gone through and even go through now, right? Because we're all human at the end of the day. So I thought, what's better than to introduce our head coach Ben as well to all of you guys and kind of what he's about as well and who he is. He's a slightly taller kind of Gimli, but probably a lot stronger character. He's an absolute G at the end of the day. So Ben, bro, thanks so much for jumping on
Yeah,
this episode. How have you been, mate? We're all good.
good, good, mate. Yeah, really good. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
Yeah, no, so far smashing it, mate. Yeah, it's
Loving it.
been what's it been? Nearly 2 months, nearly 3 months now.
Yeah, man, and you've changed the game for us here, man. You really have. Look, that's why I wanted to get you on at the end of the day.
Cheers, bro.
So, first question for you, my friend, with a simple one, just
Yeah,
what got you into fitness, man? Like, what got you into training? Take us way back when, even when you were a kid, like, what got you into this?
it's got to be two things really, right? You got how my so it'd be definitely my how my granddad brought me up. Um, I'll be taken out of school on a random day and I'll be in the New Forest the next day hunting ducks or walking through rivers and just stuff you just wouldn't want to do as a kid, but it just gave me this weird. I loved it at the end of the day.
So you are like Gimli then.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
more accurate description than you imagined. But yeah, no, it's just stuff like that. And then there's so much to that side of growing up, but also I would definitely say films and movies and games and just watching, for me it's your Rambo, your Sylvester Stallone films, your Arnold Schwarzenegger films and stuff like that. Just dudes doing cool stuff in action, and it's like that was just the thing for me, man. Just seeing a guy go from, and always the cool films are like a guy going from nothing, proper underdog, to like smashing his objectives, and it's so clear, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" It's just
Hero.
that's
You're
it.
the
That's just
best.
what got me into it. I was like, man, I need to do this. I need to get somewhere, and I can't get somewhere unless I look like that.
So what? Because I was actually quite late to training. Because again, I think same. How old are you again?
34.
Of course. So yeah. So our kind of generation. Again, you've got kids training like 14 now, right? But that
Yeah.
was not the case when we were younger, right? It was either
No.
sports. No one really went to the gym, right? So I think I started training when I was like last year of uni. It was for me. So what, I was like 20, 25, 24 or something. So what age did you start training and getting into your health and fitness?
Getting into it properly, I'd probably say around 20, really.
Fairly late
I,
as well.
I mean, I was already doing sport, so I was coaching snowboarding from about 16. So I was already quite a sporty kid. So I was doing a little bit of gym stuff, but I wouldn't say it was anything useful. So I couldn't say it was good or even worth training, but I didn't properly get into it until I started, I'd say CrossFit. Was my sort of entry into the main fitness world. My old PE teacher and an ex-army dude set up a CrossFit gym not far from me. And I was like, well, okay, I'd just finished a snowboard season. I'd come home, I had nothing except like an idea of what I wanted to do. And being fit was one of them. So I went and joined the gym and just got beasted, basically.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's a good beasting, right?
proper beasting, mate. My God.
And again, just to like rewind a bit, step away from fitness bits, something every time I talk to you and meet you, again, which I love about it still, like I learn something new about you every time. Just tell the people all of the things you've done in terms of like work and tried. Because again, like last time you were like, yeah, I was like a pro snowboard or whatever. I was like, what? Where did that come from? So you've done lots, right? That's kind of
Um,
at this point.
yeah, I think it's another thing that goes back to like just something that my family just said like to me was like do everything until something pays you well. So and it was like my choice was like okay, do fun stuff then. So I went when I left school straight away and became a snowboard coach at Bracknell. So I done that for a while. Before that, I was a semi-pro paintball player.
That's
So,
a new one. I didn't know that one. There we go. Add that to the list.
so I played for a team called HPG, and it's like the balloon version of paintball. So it's like the guns are like 30 balls a second, so the double triggers like that. It was cool as hell, but that cost a lot, and I only did that for a little bit, but that was fun. And then yeah, went into snowboarding, did that, moved to Switzerland and Austria, did some bits there. Came back, then it was kind of like gym heavy, so went into that, became a PT, set up a clothing brand for gyms called Kilogram Clothing, did all that sort of stuff. Then I kind of became a PT around then and started working in the gym group.
And that's where,
That's
again,
where,
so
yeah,
we kind of, well, it's weird actually. I think we need to tell everyone how we kind of like
yeah,
kind of bumped heads and introduced ourselves properly because Ben is another good friend of our friend, also called Ben, right? So I worked with Ben at the gym group Kingston my whole
yes,
career, right? So he was a PT there, really good friends of both of us. And when I basically started at the gym group probably 10 years ago, obviously I saw you around for like a week or two maybe,
yeah.
and then you disappeared and I never really
Wow.
saw you again. But I always knew you were friends with Ben, and obviously I think I followed your Instagram here and there, so
Yeah.
band stuff as well. Again, he's in a great band as well. Don't forget that one. Imperium, check him out. Um, and yeah, so I think I started, then you left pretty much. And then recently I started going to the David Lloyd's, right, where you currently work, and I'm sure we'll get onto that as well. And I knew you straight away, right? And I was always nodding at you, being like, "You're right, mate. You're right." And I could tell you didn't know who really like
I
the fuck
know.
this guy. Really, you were just nodding at me like anyone you would who says, "You're right," to you in a gym setting, right, as a PT. And then I followed him on Instagram. And I got a message from you straight away, and be like, "Oh fuck, it's you." I didn't put two and two together. My bad. And then he was like, "Oh my God, you're into Warhammer."
Yeah,
The rest is history, let's say. I was like, we need to have a chat.
because
So
that's the funny
how you
thing
cross
about,
paths. It's crazy
yeah,
how you cross paths, right? It's
but
mad.
it is. But it's so funny about Warhammer, right? You don't, no one walks, you're one of the only people that walk around with a Warhammer t-shirt on.
Guilty.
And you can't, like, you can't tell if someone's into it. But as soon as you, that's a connection. It's like, whoa, we got to talk about this shit.
And unless you're into Warhammer, you don't understand that. It's like when I've done
100%.
it, like some of my friends or family, they're like, okay, great, you coach guys into Warhammer. Like,
Yeah,
what's that niche? Like, it's cool, but it's like you only really get it if you're into Warhammer because you're just like
exactly.
one of us, right? Like,
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
you can't explain those parallels almost.
That's it, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. But anyway,
So,
so
so
back
there
to
was,
you.
yeah, so it was the gym group, and then I moved on to doing, I became a CrossFit coach and started going. So that was like my gateway into specifics. So I went into Olympic weightlifting, became an Olympic weightlifting coach and competed in that. Then around that time, I think I started, after that, I'd done powerlifting, and then around that time, I started doing bowhurt as well, which is a full contact medieval combat sport. Um, so yeah, that's like a whole different world.
And you got quite high up in that, didn't you?
These are that's my trophy and medal collection up there. The trophy was
Going on now.
I just
Going on.
it's got to go somewhere. But that thing that was that massive that trophy was so cool, man. Me and my coach went out to China to fight in like this huge like arena game. It was fucking insane. So we had a pro fight out there and then group fights the next day, and we both won our pro fight. And people were like, "Wow, this is nuts!" Like the photo of this thing looks like something from another world. You've got all these different nationalities and flags. They've set it all up in a
Everyone dressed
massive.
up as knights, right?
Mate, yeah, full combat, and the Japanese had their like ornate samurai sort of stuff, and you're beating the living shit out of these people with this stuff. I'm like, but that they gave us this trophy, and fuck me, it weighs a ton. I was like, I almost needed to get extra baggage for the fucking thing to come back, but it was sick, so that was cool. And then yeah, and then what else am I doing now? Obviously, the band has been 10 something years now, so
Wicked, man.
pushing that, and
So you're very multifaceted.
it is, man,
But
it's
I,
so deep and
I
stuff,
think
but
that's where we're quite similar as well. Obviously, I haven't done as much as you, and I think I didn't have as much as work ethic as you once did. But again, I obviously art was my background. I tried to
yeah,
be an artist. I tried to set up a fashion brand. Even dabbled in a bit of like
that's
music
it, yeah,
uni and stuff like that. Me and Marlon had a little rap duo, and just really trying my hands at everything. And my parents are very similar. They're like, just kind of do what you enjoy, and I'm sure something good will come of that. And they always really trusted me with that,
yeah,
and it's paid off now, right? And probably
mate.
with you. just got to jump in and just see what sticks at the end of the day and see
Dude,
what
this
makes
is
you
it.
go.
And
So, so
it's
what truly got you into coaching then? When was the decision with all this stuff you were doing when you were like, right, I'm gonna actually be a coach and start helping people now?
it was a toss-up really. My first sort of drive for PT was basically a midlife crisis after coming back from um a season. I no money, no real money in my world before anything else. So when I come back off this season, you're paid nothing when you're out there. I got home and I'm like, okay, I'm living in a caravan in my nan's garden, right? So I'm like, right, got to sort my shit out. And a really good family friend helped me get my PT course, and I went into it that way and did a whole 6 weeks, like bang. And I was not an academic person, so I shit myself, but I passed it with flying colours because I was already kind of in it so deep. So that was the moment I was like, right, okay, I'm gonna do this. I really enjoy this, and I want to be better. But it was, and I will definitely admit, it was definitely a I want to do this so I can be better myself as well. It was one of those kind of things. But since trying my hand at a few different sports as well, like I said, I've always been a coach, right? So when I learn something, I always learn how to teach it as well from good coaches, and I've been fortunate to always have good coaches. But the very moment it clicked for me was when a coach, Dave Garrett, was my Olympic weightlifting coach, and I have always had respect for my coaches. They're incredible people, but Dave just somehow just had this thing, and because I was into Olympic weightlifting heavily at the time, he just turned it up a notch for me, and I was like, "Fuck, I get this. I need to do this." So I just pursued Olympic weightlifting outside of CrossFit and started doing weightlifting sessions in different places, and just really honing like a technique of teaching someone how to do something, and then from there it just went back into PT, and it just
Mhm.
rocketed through. But yeah, that was probably the defining moment. I was like, okay, I am a coach.
Love that, bro. Absolutely love that. And again, I think we all have that moment, right, where
Hmm.
it kind of like clicks when it's either that feeling that you've given a client or that feeling that you've given yourself too of like,
Yeah,
oh my God, like this is also helping me as well in my journey and my progression with business, health, fitness, or just growth as yourself, right? I think that's really important because if we're not in that mindset, then how the hell are we going to help people grow, right? And be their
this is
best
it.
versions of themselves too. And this is something that I'm always trying to talk about, right? And I think it's always a constant thing for us too, right? So
Yeah.
like, did you or do you still ever struggle with your own mindset or your own training? Like,
Oh,
is there anything that you still struggle with day to day?
mindset, definitely. Training, no, because I've always had someone and I always will have someone telling me, do this if you want that.
And it
It's
stuck with me the other day actually when because obviously you were in David Lloyd's, right? And I was
yeah,
like, the other day I was like, oh, you were like, you're right. I was like, "Oh, having a tough session, man. Like just feeling really weak. And you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And you were like, is it? And I was like, well, you never have that. And you were like, not really. I was like, oh, fucking hell, all right, I better fix up. You know what I mean? And then the next day I went in and absolutely demolished the leg day. I had Ben in my
yeah.
head as well. You know,
You
so
were
yeah,
so,
I can
but
tell you he does not struggle with his training. He finds that tight.
but the contrast between that day and the day after, mate, was massive.
It was worlds apart. That's true. And I did
It
have
really
you in my
was.
head a little bit. I'll tell you that.
It's all,
So in terms of your mindset, then, like, what do you feel like you struggle with? Because I think it's important that obviously we talk about what we struggle with too. Uh,
oh,
what do you struggle with? Would you say?
my main struggles really, I just was always just doing the best thing possible to make the day good, if you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, time management and just pushing myself further each day. And I think it's one of the people where I don't say no to stuff. If it's a good reason and if it's better than sitting on the sofa, I'm doing it.
Mhm.
So I do get to a point sometimes where I'm like quite close to burnout, but I'm absolutely fine. And I just gotta sometimes give myself a minute and go, right, recap, what the fuck's going on here? Then I do a good bit of planning and I'm all right. But obviously, my wife Claire is the best thing for helping me. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man. I think I just busy myself a lot and then
You're
forget
very,
my own
you're very
like
driven and dedicated, right?
yeah,
See what I'm saying to you, I'm like, if it's too much, you know what I mean? Let's chat, and you're like, that's
yeah,
fine.
you do.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll do this. We'll do that. It's great. But like you said, like even having your wife, like that's still accountability, right? For someone to sometimes be like, look, just put your phone down,
Yeah,
chill out. put the laptop away sometimes, or maybe have a rest day. Let's just go for a walk. That's really important as well, I
Yeah.
think. What
Yeah.
mistakes do you think you made early on that taught you the most?
God, I mean, not paying attention to nutrition for the best part of 10 years of coaching and just thinking that movement would be all I ever needed kept me well over weight. I could move well and do stuff well, but just I never ever looked at nutrition in depth because, total honesty, I'm an example of all of my experiences are what I teach. All of what I've been shown and what I teach. I do research bits and bobs when it's necessary, but I'm not someone that's going and going, oh, this guy's saying this, we should do this or we should try that. It's definitely, if I've done it and it works, that's how I'm going to show it. So you could kind of look at that and say, yeah, maybe I should have done more research in some parts, but I don't. All of the results that I get from my clients prove otherwise, so I can't say that really. But yeah, I think that's a nutrition was one of the things that just let me down for years.
Yeah, and I think we all have that, right? When we start our training and ourselves, it's just go to the gym and smash it. Because that's the fun part, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Kind of,
Yeah.
nutrition's the boring part. You just, it kind of sits on the back seat being a little bit lonely and just keep on going to the gym. I think that's only normal. And I think even as coaches sometimes, like me too, obviously we're not perfect, right? So
Mm.
even like we go through phases of not eating well too. And I feel like now we can't get away with it so much because we're obviously older. I think when you first start training in your 20s, you can get away with not really thinking about your nutrition and you end up being a beast like yourself, right? But there's a turning point where you're like, yeah, I should really start thinking about this. So maybe that's a bit of advice for listeners too, right? If you're getting into your training, focus
Yeah.
on nutrition straight away too. It is more important than focusing on training, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, what do you feel? And it's something that I'm hugely passionate about. I know you are too. Like, what do you feel, or what do you think separates a good coach from like a truly great coach?
Um, I think a good coach will press the buttons and just make something work. You know what I mean? But a truly great coach will work out why you're pressing buttons and what they're for. And that there's a massive difference in my opinion. Someone that could just go, right, there's a program, there's that, off you go. See you later. That's the general day-to-day online coach, I think now. The difference is the in-between effort that you get, or that I like to try and get out of everyone. And it does depend on the client as well, how willing they are to open up. But the quicker you can open up with someone and get true honesty from someone, the better the coach can be. And that comes with time and just being good at asking the right questions, basically. But I think really the only massive difference is just asking more questions.
I couldn't agree more, man. It's all about communication at the end of the day, right? And building relationship too, as
Yeah,
well. Like
exactly.
the only way you can get the best out of someone is by trust, right? And the only way you can
Mhm.
trust someone is getting to know them. And again, I was literally going to do a post on this yesterday, but for me, and I'm sure for you as well, obviously, for you still being obviously one-to-one and online coach now with us, but for me being a one-to-one coach for like 10 years too, it's the relationships you build, man. That stuff is so fun, right?
Yeah,
And they teach us a lot as well. And I think that's what makes someone a great coach, someone who is actually wanting to know more about their clients, right? I always say, like, you got to be a little bit nosy, right? I remember always in my first sessions with some clients, like, they're like, who are you? You ask them all these questions, like, so where are your family from? Okay, so, like,
yeah,
they, what the fuck are you asking me all this? Again, like, I'm generally a little bit inquisitive and I'm generally
yeah,
a little bit nosy, but because you ask those questions and it brings the barriers down straight away, because I'm an open book too, I'm sure you are. My clients can ask me anything and I'll tell them
yeah,
on that
yeah,
term will get you such better results with that client and it will build that lasting relationship. And that's a huge part of why I love this job too, right? So for me, that's what coaching is. And I always sound like a bit of a dick saying this, but when people say no fault of their own, but call you like a PT or something like that, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But like, I'm not here just to train you. Like, I know it sounds really cheesy, but like, we're here to change your life, right? We're
yeah,
here to get a little bit deeper. We're here to truly get you as get you to that place where you are a better person
Yeah,
than when you started this, right?
that's
And
it.
mindset shifts that you may have to go through, and the hard conversations you may have to have as well. Like you said, knowing when to press the button, and
Mm.
being like a lot of the time I'm unapologetically kind of like brash, and I will just say something to a client, even if it feels a little bit awkward for me, because I know it's going to be best for them in the long run. So
Yeah.
I think to just opening up as well and having that communication, I couldn't agree more, man. So what do you think the biggest lesson coaching has maybe taught you about just like people in general and your clients?
Um, the biggest thing, well, I'd say it doesn't matter what your background is, in all honesty, the results cannot be achieved without full understanding that you can't buy them, you can't buy your results, you've got to earn them. And that doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire or someone with nothing. And a lot of people come into this, oh, I don't have the right money or I don't have this. It don't matter. You are able to achieve your results, but you've got to put in that hard work.
Mhm.
That for me is it.
Definitely. And you got to believe you can do it as well, right?
Yeah. Belief.
All the time. I couldn't agree more. One thing I always say to everybody, like even guys that want to come into the program, some do, some don't, obviously. But what I always say to them as well is like, you've got to believe, and it's our job to show you that at the start and throughout this whole process, right? And for anyone listening, even if you're not using a coach, you've got to believe that actually I can get where I want to be. But what I always say is like, you're no different, right? And I
No.
mean, it always comes across a bit rude, like, pardon. But you're no different, mate. Like you're no different to you, as in
Yeah.
you can't see, but I'm pointing at Ben. So you or me or
Yeah.
you listen to this, like, or some of our clients that have dropped 50 kilos or got
Yeah.
absolutely, they're no different. You're no different, and that is the best thing about this, right?
That's it.
It's
They're
just
just another guy that listened longer and took it on and had that
more
ambition and
consistent.
carried it.
Definitely, man. 100%. So, how do you help clients when maybe they say, oh, their motivation drops or they feel like they've kind of stopped or they want to check out, or for anyone listening, let's say, let's
Yeah.
talk to the listener here. I think that's best. What will be some advice that you would give when their motivation drops or they feel like they just want to, stop this and just shut the door on it because I can't do it anymore? What would your advice be?
It's a tough one, man. But, working out why they're doing that, you can kind of tell if you've been coaching someone for a long time and you can see the decline straight away. It doesn't come overnight. You can kind of catch it before it's happening, right? If you've got a new person, for example, it's a bit of a different story, but it's one of those things that I like to try and install into people from the start that it's not motivation that's going to really you want to be motivated and you will get motivated when you see your results and all this stuff, but it's not motivation. You're not going to stand up in the morning and get up because of motivation. You're going to get there because of determination and discipline. And that's a hard nut to crack for some people, but it's that really is the end of it really for me. It's like, right, we've got to find out why you're not motivated to want to be determined and
I
to want
like
to
that.
have that discipline.
A mic.
So that's the thing. It's like inception of what's going on here, right? So break it down. What's stopping you right now getting up and making it work? What's going on in your life? Because if it's tectonic and there's something changing drastically, then let's go. Let's plan. Let's make a plan together because nothing should s- nothing should stop you from wanting what you wanted when you started this journey.
Love that. So what is it for you then? Do you think I'm going to throw it back on you? So again, you said about that why, and you should always remind yourself about that journey. Like, what still keeps you going and pushing on, man, and still training like a beast, like you do, and showing up?
I just Do you know what? That is a really weird question because I'm not training for training's sake at the moment, but I sometimes catch myself and say, "Why?" I used to train to fight. I used to train to do all types of stuff, but I'm training purely for aesthetics at the moment, and it's the first time I've ever done that. But there's no goal at the end of it. I'm not training for a to go on stage, not training for a photo shoot. I'm in this intermission where my full focus is other people, and I feel like I'm kind of pushing myself to be the best role model for people to just go, fuck, this guy's great. So I kind of feel like I've got my ambitions from just just being the best I can be for the sake of other people to go, that's great. Well done. Let's do this. This, if you're doing it, I can do it. Sort of thing. Because I feel like if I go back to how I used to get motivation in the early days, I used to see it and I used to see dudes doing stuff and being like, man, he's doing that.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna do it.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, mate, 100%. I couldn't agree more. Like, even when you ask me, or when clients ask me, so what's your goal? Like, are you gonna bodybuild and that? I'm like, nah. Like,
Yeah.
and like you said, I don't feel like I'm obviously I'm training because it's just part of my life now. We've obviously both been training for over like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to go anywhere now. We're not going to suddenly just stop training and pack
No.
it in because we don't get a bigger chest or whatever. But 100%, like that's something that I've been trying to nail down. Like, why do I still train? Obviously, we love the feeling of it, and it just makes us feel human right
Yeah.
now, right? But it is that, right? Because we've got 100 guys here now. Like even friends, even family, even your partners, like that's you now, right? And I think that is so true. And I think it, for me personally, it stems back to when I was just like a bit of a bum, no work ethic, just loads of drugs, just like concerned about chilling all the time, just always taking the easiest option possible, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm always trying to like kind of prove my past self wrong, and that sounds cheesy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think deep down, I still think other people view me that way, which they don't, and they probably don't care, and they never have, right? But
Yeah.
that's something that still keeps
That's
me
that's
going.
a but even how weird that is still a motivator for you.
Of course, even if I don't think about it, it's not in the forefront of my mind because
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with my physique, right? Like, it's
This is
again,
it.
I'll probably do a photo shoot next year, but again, I've
We
already
do
done
one.
one. Yeah, yeah, I've got to
Me
do
and
it.
you. We'll
No,
do one. But
I've got to jump in, bro. Yeah, both of us.
yeah.
We're shaking hands now on Zoom. There we go. We're doing one. That'll be cool. Little
But
thing like that,
isn't that
but
the ultimate goal? To
yeah,
be able to just train for the sake of training for longevity and just to get yourself to a point where you can just like go, right, isn't
we had Wi-Fi issues there, everyone. Sorry. Go on, Ben. What are you saying? Can you remember?
I think I was along the lines of, isn't it the ultimate goal just to be able to train for the sake of like getting yourself to a point where you can go, I'm happy, let's just train. Does there have to be a competition at the end of everything? Does there have to be a photo shoot at the end of everything?
And I think
Get
that's where
yourself
the
to a
difference
point where you're
between
there.
performance and physique, right? And I
Yeah,
think it works both ways. I think a lot of people who focus purely on performance forget about health and how they're actually looking and view themselves. So like, I just want
true.
to get more numbers, I just want to get faster. And I think also where people just focus purely maybe on physique, they forget about the other stuff too. So I think that
Yeah,
definitely works both ways. But I think it's important, right? Everyone should always think of their why and what kind of keeps them ticking
yeah.
over. Last thing, dude, like I think something's gonna be valuable to everyone listening. Like again, obviously the guys we coach, not everyone, obviously, but let's face it, in our niche of guys who are into Warhammer or a little bit more nerdier, like the gym could be quite a intimidating place for you to get into. Like you really want to train, you really want to get in the best shape of your life, but you think like that ain't a place for me. That's for the jocks, you know, that's for the sporty kids. What would your advice be, or even maybe from your own experiences of someone who's feeling quite intimidated in actually getting in the gym and just getting the ball started for them?
Get in there. Did- I mean,
Simple.
just walk up in that gym, man. It's like you're gonna come across in your life people that are arseholes anywhere, mate. But in the gym, it's annoying. But at the end of the day, it's because you are in a vulnerable situation where you don't feel confident enough to get yourself in there and be a beginner. That's all it is. You've just got to get over the fact that you're walking into something and being a beginner again. All right. But take yourself to a what are you good at, right? Think about it like you say this a few times, right? It's like the models in your painting, right? Say there's a dude that wants to come and start painting. He doesn't want to walk into a Warhammer place because he doesn't want to start painting eyes on it that look like they come off of a fucking ladybird or something, right? It's the same thing. No one wants to be a beginner, but the only people that become intermediate are people that start there. So it is a hard truth, but you have to just start. And if you get a jock, be a jock. Just block them out, mate, because they're not going to do anything that's going to interrupt your progress. That person is just inadequate to what you need to do in your goal. So if that's a thing, don't panic about it. It literally isn't. It's temporary as it can possibly be. So walk up in that gym, get a
Eat
program,
your
and get
bitch
on it.
and
That's
get
it.
on it. And maybe give the jock a little nut, you know what I mean?
That's what I wanted
He
to
gets
say.
a bit lippy. Fucking you what, mate?
Yeah.
Fuck off. And
If you
then you
get
get
the
kicked out of the gym,
fucking,
banned forever.
yeah, the
Yeah.
armpit just around here,
Yeah.
dead.
Perfect from the world. Yeah, dead. Instant, mate, dead. Killed him. Instant. The best bit of advice we've given this whole podcast, I think. Ben, man, thanks so much for the chat. Obviously, I think it was important to kind of introduce you
Cool.
properly
And yeah,
to
thank you.
everyone. Yeah, so this is Ben. You'll be seeing him a lot more inside TPF. He's an absolute G, wealth of knowledge, been a coach for over a decade, coached thousands of people in all different walks of life, with all different kind of disciplines as well, which is really cool. So it kind of just it adds something else for us here. It really does as well. So if you want to know a little bit more about what we do here, obviously head over to my Instagram at Toping Fitness and also check out my YouTube as well under the same name, Toping Fitness. Tune in for the next episode so you can hear us ramble on a little bit more. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Cheers, guys.